everyone, and welcome to another edition of A Plus Wrestling here on A Plus Productions. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour, it's getting hot in here, and to celebrate, Boris and I have removed all of our clothing. Let's get to it, buddy. Hot takes 2025.
Out. Hot takes out. Let's talk some wrestling.
Dicks out for Harambe.
Oh my God, the shit we talk about here. But it's always a fun time chatting wrestling. What a week it's been. What a start to 2025 it has been. We are about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks into 2025. And we wanted to, again, here on A Plus Wrestling, we love our listeners and we absolutely love getting your feedback. And one of my favorite things to always do, especially as being a wrestling fan, is kind of just predicting some craziness that could happen in the year. Oftentimes, we are right. I think a few years ago I said, or even last year I said, that AEW is going to have a very interesting year as contracts begin to come up. And that's what we are seeing as the first batch of contracts are up. And we're seeing a lot of free agents moving back and forth, which is just a beautiful thing to see in pro wrestling. Because, Matt, people are getting paid. So on this week's episode, we're going to be focusing on some hot takes for 2025.
Yeah, man, everyone loves a bold prediction show. Everyone loves a mailbag show. And we love our listeners, and we want to just, shout out your takes and see if we agree, see if we can have a laugh. And we'll shoot out a couple of our own hot takes as well. But yeah, this is one of my favorite shows of the year to do. And I think we need to make sure to make this a yearly tradition around January of every year going forward.
Exactly. Once again, we are reading from the Facebook group. You can join the Facebook group by going to facebook.com and searching for A Plus Productions. That's where we talk about all things sports, entertainment, and mainly wrestling. But it is always a good time there. But yeah, man, it's been a crazy couple weeks in pro wrestling. WWE to Netflix is something that actually Chris Van Vliet and I talked about way back when. We didn't say Netflix, but we both predicted at some point that the next WWE contract is going to be with a streaming service. And I remember getting all these emails and feedback saying that I'm crazy.
Little did they know that you're crazy for many other reasons, but you nailed that one, buddy. You nailed that one.
Again, thank you so much to everyone that contributed to this thread. We are going to be reading a few of these out loud and giving our opinions. Let us start right away. I got to give a shout out to Joe Aguinaldo, always with the positivity. He said that I, being Boris Roberto Aguilar, will not only walk in 2025 without a limp, but will in fact become a champion break dancer. The only thing I will break are my knees and women's hearts.
Oh, you pimp. You have been hit with a few shells, and you do walk with a limp, and that's why we love you, Boris, like 50 Cent. Wow, that's nice. That's nice of Joe Aguinaldo. Miss Joe, we got to get him on one of these shows here very shortly.
Exactly. Even to talk some basketball. We got to talk some basketball with him again. All right. Jay Lambier, a great contributor here on the Facebook group. This is what he says. He says, I think that favor for Punk will end up turning him heel and going after Cody's Universal title. And American Made goes full MAGA mode.
Yeah, I remember responding to that. I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen a MAGA character really in mainstream wrestling. There's some on the independents, but I'm surprised that no wrestling company has leaned into that.
Corey
kind
Graves'
of
brother.
Thankful they haven't. Yeah, exactly. But that's like that. I would say that's like independent. Maybe international is the right word.
Yes.
For that.
Yeah. In AAA, he does a very much made in America, fuck you immigrants type of character.
Right. And I feel like the reason why that isn't done is because the controversy, the shitstorm that would come, and because 40 to 75% of the wrestling audience might cheer that person. But then you get like the whole Canada versus USA, Brett versus Sean, where babyface someplace, where heel some other place. And I think that could you know, drum up a lot of heat and perhaps interest and could sell some tickets in wrestling. I'm surprised it hasn't been done. Kind of thankful it hasn't been done. MJF sort of dipped his toes in that water when he was doing his Pro America thing, but he didn't really like lean into it. And yeah, maybe that's my hot take in 2025. Someone's going full MAGA. And that man, shockingly, is Tony Khan. No, probably not that. But
That man is going to be managed by Hulk Hogan.
you can totally see it.
You know what? At this point, go with it.
If you're going to use Hulk Hogan, it's not the worst idea. My advice would be to never use him again and let that racist old man die. But that's just me.
Yeah, there's even talk of bringing in Ric Flair for the Royal Rumble because I think they're going to try to like honor some past Royal Rumble winners, and there's a lot of chatter that Ric Flair is going to be there. Look, I understand Triple H, his love for certain people. I also do appreciate that WWE is now honoring its history and its legends, as you should, but you got to read the room sometimes.
Yeah, well, with Flair, I mean, AEW brought him in, and AEW, for lack of a better term, and this is a terrible oversimplification, but AEW is quote unquote the woke wrestling company, right? And they used Ric Flair. So I feel like once you trot Hulk Hogan out there to hawk beer on Netflix, all bets are off. Like, I don't particularly want to see either, but I think using Flair is far more justifiable than using Hogan.
Yep. Let's look at the first point here. The favor that we're talking about is what caused Paul Heyman to get CM Punk and the War Games match. We haven't really touched that point since Survivor Series, but Jay thinks that the favor is going to get Punk into a heel and go after Cody's Universal title. Thoughts on that?
I agree with the first part. I could easily see it being how they pivot Punk to a heel mode. I don't know how you would get Cody involved, like his relationship with Paul Heyman and Paul Heyman's relationship with the NOI family doesn't really have anything to do with Cody Rhodes. So unless it's just like Punk's favor is that he needs a heel manager, he needs someone who's dastardly, which they can do. You can do anything in wrestling. It's a scripted television show. You write the script, you can do anything. It's fiction. But I do think there's like a little bit of a leap in logic there that I would expect the favor to be setting up Punk versus Roman Reigns, not Punk versus Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. Man, looking at Royal Rumble, this Royal Rumble might be the most stacked Royal Rumble since the Invasion angle. Like, this is going to be a huge Rumble.
For sure. The star power already is immense in the men's Royal Rumble. And I think it's pretty wide open too. Like, they're telegraphing John Cena to win, which makes me think he won't win. Yeah. And there are 10 solid options outside of Cena.
I think Cena's going to win the Elimination Chamber. I think the advertising, the over advertising of John Cena for the Elimination Chamber here in Toronto at the Skydome, I think that he's going to end up winning that match somehow.
Yeah, you're not the only one to predict that, and I totally think that's the case. Especially because they're telling us so hard over and over and over that he's going to win the Rumble. He's telling us that he's going to win the Rumble. I think they're setting it up so that he has to get his title shot from other means, and that'll be a nice little swerve. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with that.
All right, let us go to the next one. Blaine says CM Punk to win the world title as a heel, Brock Lesnar to return by the end of the year.
Lesnar will come back. He'll come back eventually. He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the hassle, but I do feel like he's not wrestled his last match. He will come back eventually. It might as well be into 2025. I can agree with that. What was the first one?
CM Punk to win the world title as a heel.
Yeah, I'll co-sign both of those. I think that's pretty accurate. Maybe not 2025 for Brock, but he's coming back eventually. And yeah, Punk to win the world title as a heel. That sounds correct.
Yep. Danny K has 3. Danny's a great contributor here, always gives his thoughts, and here's what he thinks is going to happen in 2025. Number 1, Jordynne Grace will be WWE Women's World Champion before the end of 2025.
Ooh, I like that one. She's a good shout, a dark horse to win the Women's Royal Rumble this year. Yeah,
Imagine.
I like that.
Well, actually, no. This weekend is her last weekend with TNA officially. So
Okay. So yeah, she's definitely going to be in the Royal Rumble. Sure, see, she's already been in a Royal Rumble. Jordan Grace as a TNA wrestler would not shock me to see her win the Royal Rumble this year.
yeah. Jordan Grace. Yeah, I think she'll end up winning a title. Women's world title, maybe not, but maybe for sure US IC. But I do see Jordan Grace being in the mix in 2025. All right, his second point here. Ricky Starks will compete in the main event of a WWE PLE before the end of the year.
Maybe if you include NXT. If you include Deadline and No Mercy and Halloween Havoc, sure, yes. I don't think he's going to compete in the main event of friggin' SummerSlam. You know what I mean? But NXT, yeah, I'll co-sign it.
Absolutely. I look at Ethan Page, right? He just got put in this crazy position, crazy good position, and they're using him so well right now in NXT. His character is just, he's such an asshole. I love it.
He's becoming like a sadistic prick now in the last few weeks. But yeah, Ethan Page has done great work in NXT.
All right, number 3. This is a very interesting one. Tom Pestock, formerly known as Baron Corbin, will win the TNA World Championship.
Oh, interesting. Now, the only thing that gives me pause on this one is as of today, as of January 16th, as we record this, 2025, it has been announced that WWE and TNA have partnered together and are officially working together in a long-term capacity. And WWE just fired his ass. So I don't know why TNA would now sign him. This is the first one that I actually strongly disagree with, and it's not because Baron Corbin's not talented. I like the idea, but the way that this partnership has just shaken down, I guess you would say, I don't think it's happening. I don't think Corbin's going to TNA.
I think he'll show up a short term, maybe have a program, but nothing too substantial.
I don't think so. I truly don't.
Let's see what happens by the end of Genesis later today. All right, Douglas Stanford Grandy. Dominic will win either an IC or US championship.
Let's go. Long overdue. He should, and I think that's a good shout. He probably will. It is time to belt Dominic Mysterio.
Cody will not turn heel as soon as most suspect, mainly because WWE knows almost everyone expects it to happen. However, he will start getting booed more and more. A full heel turn likely won't happen until either towards the end of the year or early 2026.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. To me, it's just you don't turn him heel before the crowd does. Let the crowd come to that conclusion. Let the boos start happening and then turn him heel. Don't be like AEW and resist once the boos come, and they will. The crowd will eventually turn on Cody Rhodes, but don't turn him before the crowd does first.
Yep, exactly. All Cody needs to do is beat Roman or CM Punk at this point, and the crowd will turn on him.
We're already getting a little close with Kevin Owens. It wouldn't shock me if at the Royal Rumble, Kevin Owens gets some cheers and it's more of a 50-50 split for he and Cody.
Yeah. All right. And his last point here, New Day will win tag titles and lose them to the Street Profits. Very specific prediction here.
I like that one a lot. I hope that is what occurs. I really do. The New Day in their new heel personas have been excellent. I am loving Xavier and Kofi. They need to do a little more, though. They need to start having matches and winning matches and getting a little more screen time. I want to see more of the New Day.
Do you find, and this is a common complaint that I'm seeing right now about WWE, and it's a funny one, but I can see where it's coming from, that WWE sometimes moves a little too slow as they try to tell stories?
I don't think it's that bad because AEW is worse. AEW moves at a glacial pace. They have a plan and they stick to it, and that's good in the history of wrestling, there's been a lot of hot shotting, as they say. There has not been enough patience in storytelling in pro wrestling, but now there's almost too much patience. Certainly in AEW, stories move far too slowly, and I can see a little bit of that in WWE nowadays for sure. Our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. It is more of an instant gratification society every single day, so it would make sense that wrestling stories become shorter as well, but they're all getting longer. That's kind of funny how that works.
It is really. It's funny because like people for years were clamoring for long-term storytelling. Now that we have it, people don't want it.
That's true. It's a little fickle in that way, but so I don't have a problem with WWE's pace of storytelling at all. I think it's kind of perfect.
Mhm.
With AEW, it can be a little too long, but that's like, I don't know. That's like saying like you didn't want me to drive 100 miles an hour, so I'm driving 5 miles an hour everywhere. Like, no, there is a happy medium. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to walk to every destination, but we don't have to sprint and trip over our own feet getting there either, right? There is a happy medium.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Jake, good old Jake Eleanor, he is saying Vince McMahon gets indicted by the federal government and is arrested.
Here's hoping. I mean, it sure seems like he's a horrible criminal who deserves to go to jail. Although, with the current president of the United States, I'm sure he would just get pardoned instantly.
Exactly. All right, David J. Brightly. He says Kevin Owens will join AEW. I completely disagree with this one. I think Kevin Owens is more than happy in WWE and will likely see his final contract with WWE.
Yeah, I like the idea, and it wouldn't shock me if one day he had a match or two in AEW with his boys. He's been friends with the Young Bucks. He's been friends with a lot of AEW wrestlers for a very long time, but I think he's comfortable and he's doing great work. He's making a lot of money. Apparently his son is showing up in the performance center and training a little bit. His son, who is like 6'7" now and is like a fucking brick shit house of a kid. So yeah, I think Kevin Owens is pretty close to a WWE lifer at this point, although it would not shock me because he has so many friends in AEW if one day he did have a match or two there, but like far less than even Edge's run. I feel like even he won't even be an Adam Copeland there. He'll be more of a Matt Cardona if he goes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would assume, but even that is really digging deep. All right, John Paul Zamet says Christian will cash in and be the AEW World Champion with the help of a heel rated FTR.
Huh. Interesting. I like that one. I could see it. I could easily see it. I don't know how you get there right now story wise, but again, it's a fictional television show. You can do anything. It would be a little too cute if it just happened out of the blue right now. That would require some storyline work, some explaining. They would have some splaining to do on that one, Boris.
And let's be honest, AEW sometimes isn't good at getting logical explanations out there. Look at the whole MJF Adam Cole stuff.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, that's absolutely Chris Statlander. We can go down the line. We can go down the line of back and forth turns that kind of make no sense.
All right, John Paul continues and he says that Beth Phoenix will join AEW.
Yeah, that's for sure going to happen. That'll happen sooner than later. I could see Beth Phoenix and Adam Copeland versus John Moxley and Marina Shafir happening pretty soon.
Yep. All right. We also have, he also said Jody Threat will be TNA Knockouts champion.
That's a good shout. Jody Threat, talented wrestler. That's probably that could happen in the next year or two for sure.
Yeah, and the fans love her. Like, she gets great reactions. People really do take to her. He continues with Ricky Starks will be NXT champion before the end of 2025.
Yeah, that to me is more likely than him main eventing a WWE PLE. I respect that first prediction. That is a bold ass prediction. Ricky Starks will be in NXT, it seems, before the end of 2025, and by all means could be champion.
All right. A heel Ricochet will win a AEW title, TNT championship, or a tag team championship in 2025.
Yeah, there's 1,000 titles in AEW, so I would say it's malpractice if a heel Ricochet does not win. And this is especially bold because Ricochet was a babyface when this was written. In the intervening 2.5, 3 weeks, Ricochet has violently turned heel, and he's been great. It's been the most interesting character work Ricochet's ever done. So I think the first part of that was actually bolder than the second, and the first part already happened. So great job by you.
Joe Hendry will win a major singles title in 2025, whether it's TNA or WWE or both.
Yeah, he's going to beat Dolph Ziggler for the old TNA title, possibly on Sunday or whenever Genesis is.
Yeah,
Are they facing?
Sunday.
Is that who?
Yep.
Is that who Ziggler's against? Yeah, it could happen very soon.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with Royal Rumble just around the corner. It'll be very interesting to see what happens there, especially with this new partnership, which leads us into, again, thank you so much for all of the bold predictions from our listeners. Matt, let us get into our own. Funny enough, one of my bold predictions is kind of becoming true little by little, especially with today's or earlier this week's news of the partnership with TNA and WWE, where we're going to be seeing wrestler swaps back and forth. My bold prediction is that TKO is going to purchase TNA Wrestling from Anthem.
Interesting. That is bold because I feel like it's the old adage. John Mulaney has an excellent bit about this ridiculous adage. Why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? Kind of seems like WWE is getting the milk for free from TNA.
Yep. Exactly. It's crazy, right? Yeah, this partnership is going to be very interesting because, look, it's been made official. There is a press release. So something is cooking. Something is cooking between the two companies for them to go out of their way to publicly announce we are working together.
Yeah, it's a little bit of shot across the bow at AEW in a way. But yeah, no, I don't think I don't agree with that one, but I like where your head's at. It is a bold prediction, my friend. It is certainly bold.
Yep. What are you thinking for 2025?
It's here's my bold prediction. It's a three-part, let's say, prediction. At the next Saturday night's main event, Saturday, January 25th, Jey Uso will defeat Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Part 1. Part 2, the winner of the Royal Rumble this year will be Sami Zayn, setting up Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn beats Jey Uso for the title at WrestleMania, and Sami gets a big crowning moment with his belt in front of one of the largest crowds ever to see wrestling in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, I'm picking Sami Zayn to win the Royal Rumble, or perhaps Roman Reigns. I'll just slide that in there, but I'm sticking with my prediction. Sami Zayn is going to win the Royal Rumble. More so than that, my real prediction is that Jey Uso wins the title, and the Royal Rumble winner faces Jey Uso for his World Heavyweight Championship this year.
That's a bold prediction, my friend. I can see, here's the thing. Your main prediction of Gunther losing at Saturday night's main event, I can see happening. That's not an insane thought. I can honestly see that. But man, it'll be, man, the reason why I love that pick so much is because if you look at WWE right now, right, there's just so much happening that you have like CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, John Cena, so many other people in that title picture. Why not just mix it up? Get Jey Uso in there, because any combination of wrestlers that I mentioned previously, they do not need a world title for a match at WrestleMania.
1,000%. You can do Punk versus Roman, Punk versus Rollins versus Drew. You can do all of these things that absolutely do not require the world title. I totally agree with you. And in Jey Uso's case, he's bumping up against that Lex Luger place there where the fans might not trust him in big matches anymore. He always loses big matches, Jey Uso does. So I think he needs a big forward-facing W. And there's all these rumors that Gunther is going to wrestle Goldberg at WrestleMania. And a very easy way to get to that match, we've seen Goldberg cost people the world title and then face them at WrestleMania numerous times before. He's done that to Brock Lesnar twice, I believe, has he not?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one a lot, man. I really do like that prediction a lot. Do you have any other ones on your docket?
CM Punk chokes out somebody backstage. Let's say, I don't know, Marco Stunt. He shows up WWE backstage and just gets fucking rear nakeded by CM Punk.
I love that. I love that so much. Yeah, CM Punk, man. What a interesting few years.
I'm a CM Punk lifelong fan. Liked him since the first day I saw him. I was disappointed in life, not even like coming down on Punk. It was just the whole brawl out thing made me really sad. Conversely, Punk has been on his best behavior, old man Papa Punk, since he came to WWE, and I'm really liking this. It seems like all Punk ever wanted was to be in a leadership role and to be respected backstage, and he was not respected backstage at AEW. He was kind of in a leadership role, but he was constantly bumping up against people, and it just seems like in WWE he's on his best behavior. And everyone loves him backstage, except for maybe a couple people here and there. And I really, as a CM Punk truther, it warms my heart to see how this has gone so far. So far.
Exactly. So much can happen. Bold prediction from me. I think Dominic Mysterio will turn babyface in the near future.
Oh, too early. It's just like I said for Cody Rhodes, too damn early.
I think it's going to happen naturally. I think it's going to happen naturally with the crowd. And by the end of the year, he's just going to be an official babyface. I think that's, and we saw some seeds planted this past Monday on Raw when Finn Balor basically told when Balor told Dominic to just, stay in the back. And Where was Dominic for that street fight?
Exactly right. He stayed in the back. I do think that it's leading to Dominic maybe taking over Judgment Day, kicking Finn out. I could see Finn doing one last babyface run before Dominic in that case. Dominic will be an excellent babyface one day. He will be, because the crowd hates him so much. That hate will turn to love. They're going to love him, just like The Rock, just like Stone Cold Steve Austin, just like thousands of wrestlers before. Like, maybe not thousands,
just like his dad, Eddie Guerrero.
Exactly right, brother. Exactly right. His biological poppy. But one day it will happen. Just not yet. Not for a couple years. There's still too much meat on that bone. The crowd fucking despises that guy still.
Yep. Another bold prediction from me is that Roxanne Perez is going to get a secondary women's title by WrestleMania.
By WrestleMania. Ooh, I like it. Bayley versus Roxy for the U.S. title. Let's go.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Well, maybe not. I can see Chelsea Green being a long-term champ, but I think that, it's all on SmackDown. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the hell happens. But, yeah, Roxanne Perez is more than likely going to appear at Royal Rumble and whatnot.
Yeah, I think Roxanne and Bayley one-on-one at WrestleMania wouldn't shock me at all. I can definitely see that happening, possibly for a title.
There you go. Any other bold predictions from you, Matt?
Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax at WrestleMania, and the fan base bitches incessantly that it's a waste of Rhea Ripley.
I love that. I can't wait for that, because that's totally going to happen. All right, here's what I'm thinking. All in. AEW All In. Texas. Okada versus Omega is going to unify the Continental and International titles.
I hope so, because those titles are completely superfluous. You don't need both. I really hope that's happening. I sincerely hope so. Here's one for you. Jeff Jarrett beats blank. Let's say Jon Moxley. Jeff Jarrett beats Jon Moxley for the world title at All In. And then Christian cashes in on Jeff Jarrett and leaves Texas as the world champion, because Jeff Jarrett doesn't need to hold it for any length of time, but it would be nice to give him that last moment, that final hoorah, and then Christian can retire him for all intents and purposes. So yeah, I feel like Christian leaves Texas as the world champion after beating newly crowned champion Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, another bold prediction for AEW All In Texas is that the Von Erichs are going to win the tag titles.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. I could easily see that. Knowing Tony Khan's booking, they'll win the Ring of Honor tag team titles on the pre-show.
Exactly. Fuck it. Oh.
Did you hear? And I'm not necessarily a huge Young Bucks guy, but this made me love the Young Bucks forever. This made me instant, lifelong fans of the Young Bucks. Did you hear that the Young Bucks begged Tony Khan? Apparently, they asked repeatedly to lose the tag team titles in a squash to the Outrunners.
Look,
and Tony Khan said
here's
no.
The thing. I want to believe that. But seeing where here's the thing,
yeah.
Seeing where it originally came from, come on. Like, it's so hard to believe anything Meltzer says when it comes to AEW.
Fair. I love Dave. I will always appreciate Dave. Perhaps the greatest wrestling historian alive. His record is his record. Dave Meltzer has gotten a lot wrong over the past couple of years. I truly believe that maybe he should give the behind the scenes portion of his work a little bit of a backseat to the historian portion of his work. I would much rather hear him talk about old wrestling than current wrestling. But I love and respect Dave Meltzer. That is absolutely fair. His record has been spotty at best over the past couple of years.
Dude, honestly, his interview with Brian R. Solomon on Shut Up and Wrestle, Brian Solomon's podcast, the 150th episode, amazing episode with Dave Meltzer. And you know what? They talked about the history of pro wrestling, and it was such a good listen.
Yeah, man. Dave is unparalleled almost in the entire world when it comes to wrestling history. Even just like talking about the Lapsed Fan podcast that he did 10 years ago, where he went through every WrestleMania 1 through 30 at that point. I still have them saved on YouTube in a playlist that I'll listen to every couple of years to this day. You know, like Dave Meltzer talking about wrestling history, one of the greats of all time. Dave Meltzer talking about current wrestling. Sadly, he's lost a lot of zip on that fastball.
Yep. Penta will win a singles title in WWE in 2025. Mainly for the reason that, look, just like Ethan Page, just like CM Punk, just like Cody, just like Jade Cargill, you need to show talent that if they do jump ship, they will be respected and they will be in good hands.
I like it. I like where your head's at on that one. Does WWE Speed title count? Because he can have that tomorrow.
I forgot about that thing completely.
Yeah. Here's one. Babyface Chad Gable will win his first WWE title.
With Hulk Hogan as his manager.
Babyface only in the red states. No. He will turn into a babyface that the crowd loves, not MAGA related at all, and he will win the United States Championship, let's say.
Yeah, dude, honestly, if he continues having banger of matches with just the crowd kind of doing the Kurt Angle shtick with him, honestly, he is going to turn into a babyface much faster than anyone will predict.
He's really good, man. And the crowd loved him when he was going against Gunther a couple years ago. Like he has easily got the babyface fire in him. He can do that for sure.
Yeah. Anything else you got for 2025, Matt?
No. Well, okay. How about this? Ray Phoenix. When does he come in? How is he used?
From all accounts, we're not reporters, but everything that I'm hearing from a couple people is that he's got another year in AEW.
Another year just on the shelf, wasting away. That's sad for everyone involved. Mostly Tony Khan. Like, that's just, I don't know. I guess he's getting paychecks. He can feed his family, and that's cool. But like, yeah, that's just kind of malpractice in a way. Okay, here's another one. Malachi Black appears to be headed to WWE. Aleister Black. Do you think that he's going to be upper mid card? Do you think he's going to be in the main event? Triple H loves that guy. How do you think they will use Aleister Black?
They're gonna shot put him to the top. It is going to be insane. And again, it's going to be a little fuck you to AEW. Like, look, we can use your guys better than you.
And I mean, so far, Jade Cargill, I think WWE has done at least as good, if not a better job. Ethan Page, WWE has done a significantly better job. You could argue Penta in one night, WWE has done a better job than Brian in his Pillman entire Jr. AEW career. Brian Pillman Jr., WWE has done a better job. That's 4 off the top of my head.
Yeah, exactly. It's so quick. Like, it's great. Yeah. So I think that continues, right? Especially if you're a NXT person. When Triple H was running, he will take care of you, and that's just fact. There's certain people that he loves, and it's people that were at the top of the card in NXT, circa 2015 to 19.
Yes, exactly right. That's the exact window where those guys, if and when they return to WWE, will be treated pretty well.
Bold prediction: Keith Lee will be a WWE wrestler by the end of 2025.
I love it. I hope so. I hope he's healthy enough. I hope he's got enough in the tank. Yeah, Keith Lee, I miss Rusev. I miss old fucking Miro. You know what I mean? Like,
the Redeemer. I miss the Redeemer story that they had going with him.
No. Yeah, it was solid. Now, the Redeemer and Miro, if all backstage reports are correct, blah, blah, blah. That's one where I kind of understand where Tony Khan is coming from. If he legitimately refuses to lose to everyone and just wants to be world champ, and you can't use him because he refuses to let anyone pin his shoulders to the mat in a wrestling company, that one I kind of understand.
So explain Mercedes Moné.
Mercedes Moné is fucking great, and she deserves all of her success. That is how I explain Mercedes Moné. The most overhated wrestler of my lifetime is Mercedes Moné. I'm not even going to name his name, but Blaine Vandergrind. We have a vocal fan base, and I love Blaine's passion for wrestling. But him saying that Mercedes was the worst wrestler of 2024 is the worst take I've ever heard in my life in any subject for any reason. That made me physically angry. That rose my blood pressure reading that.
Bold prediction for 2025. Blaine and Matt are going to agree on something.
Disagree. Bold prediction. Blaine versus Matt inside the confines of a 15-foot high steel cage. Every dog has his day. Yes,
or side yard.
Blaine, I'm calling you out. Ossington Station. Let's go. WrestleMania weekend. No, I love Blaine. We agree from time to time. We do agree from time to time. It's rare, but it'll happen.
Yeah, exactly. It happens. It happens. Crazier things have happened, my friend. But I'm loving some of these predictions because so much can happen. And again, in an industry where never say never is so fucking true.
Yeah, well, even CM Punk coming back to WWE seemed like a pipe dream not long ago. Like, so many things change and so many twists and turns in this wrestling business. That's why we pushing 40, Boris, 35 plus year old wrestling fans still watching it. Still
turning 40 this year.
Oof, bud. And you're more active now than you've been in years. You're going to be running to 40, literally and figuratively.
Literally and figuratively, my friend. Yeah, dude. 2025 has already been an interesting year. We are heading into my favorite time of the year, and that is WrestleMania season. Just 2 weeks' time, we are going to officially know at least who is the winner of the Royal Rumbles. And we are going to be on the road to WrestleMania. And what I love about this year is that it's so unpredictable. Like they really have me watching week to week. At least Raw. SmackDown, these 3-hour SmackDowns, they do not have the talent pool for a 3-hour show.
No, they need to call up a couple more NXT wrestlers, honestly. They have some talent. Like Ethan Page should be on SmackDown at this point. He's fucking 35 and he's done all you could do in NXT in 3 months. So he should move up. There's definitely a little bit of a talent pool Yeah, it's a little shallow. It is a little shallow. There's a little bit of a talent pool problem in on the SmackDown side, but I agree with you 100% on that. And yeah, man, the next couple of weeks we have Saturday night's main event. I imagine we'll probably do a post game show on that. Then the week after that we have Royal Rumble, February 1st, the first ever February Rumble. We're going to do a little post game show on that. I imagine we'll skip a week, but then February 15th, Saturday, I believe, is NXT Vengeance Day and AEW Grand Slam, which is not a pay per view, but kind of. It's like a HBO Max special, I suppose.
Yeah, I think Tony Khan got a real awakening with that one. They were trying to make that into a huge deal, but ticket sales aren't going well. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, here's hoping that AEW wakes up and they fucking stay focused. One thing I'm really loving about AEW right now is their use of smaller and different looking venues.
Yeah, definitely. Hotter, louder crowds is helping AEW a lot. Yeah, the interesting venues, AEW at Hammerstein Ballroom was a lot of fun. AEW isn't as bad as people act, but they do have many glaring, frustrating issues that are just so easily fixable that just aren't getting fixed. And that's why
the problem.
Fans
I think
are frustrated.
That's what frustrates me. It's the fact that, dude, you and I could fix some of these issues. Why doesn't Tony Khan, a billionaire with endless resources and a creative mind, apparently, fix them? Like, that's so frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tony Khan gets a little too much hate, but he doesn't have a creative mind. Tony Khan is not a creative guy.
Yeah, look at his team.
Very obvious. Very obvious.
Look at the Jaguars and their draft picks.
Exactly right, Butter.
As we're talking about bold predictions at this whole TNA WWE thing, I was thinking, man, two things coming from that. Number one, are we going to see a reunion of the North? That is Josh Alexander and Ethan Page.
Interesting. Does Josh Alexander still work for TNA? Is he still very much a TNA employee?
So, no. And but he's not taking indie dates anymore.
Off to a bad start.
I don't know if this is a case of he just not wanting to work the indies, or if he's being signed by WWE, because I do think that he's going to end up there. Another prediction with Josh Alexander for me is that we're going to see the match of the year. I'm calling it right now. The match of the year in 2025 will be Josh Alexander versus Chad Gable.
Oh, one for the technique fans. A technical bout of wizardry that could be. I like where your head's at.
Yep. Man, well, you know what? I know we always say this, but this year we need to go back and see what we got right, what we got wrong, because I will forever mock you for the Johnny Gargano to AEW.
Yeah, that was a big L. That was a big L. But that's why we do these bold predictions show, baby. They gotta be bold.
That's exactly it.
What is it?
Yeah. That's exactly it, right? Because it's we love giving ourselves the good old Barry Horowitz when we get stuff right.
Yes, exactly. Exactly right, man. Oh, this has been fun. We let's do it again sometime. Perhaps next year.
Exactly. APlusProductions.com is the best place to get all of our content, where we talk about sports, where we talk about entertainment, and dude, we even talk about sports entertainment / wrestling. We have 3 different feeds. Sign up for the content that you want. As you heard, we have a lot of feedback because we love getting feedback. We love talking to listeners. Just send us a DM and come on the show. We love talking wrestling. And that's what this honestly is. It's just a conversation about wrestling. We're not in here to be millionaires. We're not in here to bullshit people. We're not in here for many reasons. We're here to talk wrestling because we like talking wrestling. Facebook.com and search for A Plus Productions.
Yeah, not trying to talk down to anyone, not trying to gatekeep, not trying to say that our opinions are, more important or more valid than the fans.
They are, but
well, Boris is trying to say that, but yeah, no, we're exactly right, man. We love sports and wrestling and TV and nerdery, and that's why we talk about these things. And we thank you all so much for playing along. And at some point in 2025, we're probably going to start up a Patreon again. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Keep your eyes peeled for that. There's a lot of things that are brewing here, percolating here on A Plus Productions. The entire team is so stoked. And again, Matt, huge thanks to you for being part of this, and huge thanks to everyone else, from Melball to Andre to Yorkie to even Dax. Everyone, the entire team is awesome to have here on A Plus Wrestling. It's It's awesome. It's the support that we get sometimes really does brighten my day. It's really helped me with my recovery, to be honest. Is getting random messages from people asking how I am and wishing me the best. It really does mean a lot, especially like I say, highest of highs, lowest of lows in 2024. But 2025 is going to be a fantastic year, both personally and professionally, and in the wrestling world. On behalf of the entire team, thank you so much for listening. But most important, take care. But most importantly, stay tranquilo.